Hello again from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. This is a continuation in a little set of videos that I am doing about accounts payable aging or tying. In fact, this video is going to actually be about tying your accounts payable account on your chart of accounts to a list of open invoices. Those should always tie. CHS is designed to warn you about that if they're not, and I am going to purposely in this video cause them not to tie. Right now, as of today's date, they are tying. And by that I mean the accounts payable account on your chart of accounts 2110, the total that it shows in that accounts payable GL account is tying to a list of unpaid payables invoices, so that if I pull a report and I see all the unpaid payables invoices, that amount ties 64,582 to the balance in the GL account. The GL account that is used for accounts payable is called a control account, and as I explained in the previous video, you tell CHS which control account to use for posting accounts payable. So like I said, when you post an unpaid accounts payable bill, CHS will put one side of that entry to whatever GL account you used, office supplies, telephone expense, job cost, work in progress, whatever. And then it will post the other side of the entry to this control account for accounts payable. And then when you pay an accounts payable thing, it will reduce the accounts payable control account and also decrease a cash account. And all of that is done to keep your books in balance. So basically you want to let CHS control this account, and unless there's some very, very good reason, your balance forward in the beginning was off, or some other thing that your CPA wants you to post an actual journal entry or something to this account, unless there's a really good reason for that, you should not do it. However, I'm going to do it and purposely throw this account off from my list of unpaid payables invoices. So right now you can see the balance in that accounts payable trade on your chart of accounts is equaling what this is showing as far as what our list of open invoices is over here on the aging window. So let's go home, and I'm going to just purposely post a journal entry, and I'll just add a new journal entry batch, and maybe I'm thinking that I for some reason want to do some entry as of year end, and you will need to explain to your CPA we don't want to do it to that accounts payable. You might set up some other account if you're needing to make some sort of payable adjustment. You don't want to just decide I'm going to throw in some accrual or something to that accounts payable account. You should have another account maybe called accounts payable accrued if that's what you're trying to do, but you shouldn't use the control GL account. But let's just say I'm adjusting AP, I'll call that my batch ID. You can give it some date or some batch ID. Watch other videos about doing journal entries for real. So I'm going to go ahead and use that 2110 accounts payable trade, and notice that right away I get an alert that says the accounts payable control number should not be used unless you're setting up a balance forward or you're making an adjustment that is necessary to balance accounts payable to unpaid invoices. There shouldn't be much reason that you're doing that, but maybe there's just something where you need to force the accounts payable balance to equal your total. Maybe you had a previous journal entry that messed it up and you're reversing it. Posting a journal entry to the accounts payable account has a high possibility of making your AP account balance be different than your total of unpaid invoices. Check your accounts payable aging after posting this entry. So I'm going to still go ahead and post it. I might put adjust AP for some reason. I don't know. I would explain it, I'm sure. And let's say we decide to put a credit, like we're increasing accounts payable. Let's just make it real easy to see by making it 500. We won't worry about having it be some sort of job cost or something. So I'm going to use this icon to copy the rows so that I can make my This must total to 0 before it'll let you submit. Let's say, I don't know what we thought we were doing when we did this, but maybe we use, I don't know what it is, notes payable. We think that we're reducing notes payable, and we think we're putting in an accounts payable. I don't know, some other account that, for whatever reason, your CPA or whoever decides this has to be done. I'm just using this as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this. It does let you, just in case you just absolutely have to make an adjustment to accounts payable. So we can get rid of that, and let's close this window and reopen accounts payable. Accounts payable aging. Notice that right away I get an alert that there's a difference between the AP control account and the total of the unpaid payables invoices. This could be because someone has posted a journal entry to that AP account, which will usually cause the account to be different. When the AP aging window opens, use the feature there to troubleshoot this. So notice now that in red, I'm getting a difference and an alert that there is a difference. Please click the button above labeled APGL Summary and read the info there. This might be because someone has posted something to the AP control account that was not created by CHS, or that a record is marked as paid before its invoice date. This is highly unlikely that this will happen because I have controls in there to not let you use a date for a check that is prior to an invoice date. That's because it would throw all of this off, because it's just weird trying to figure out what's paid and unpaid as of different dates if you have paid dates that are before your invoice dates. To narrow down when the error might have occurred, try entering previous month dates. You can start trying to see where did that get off. Maybe I try the 12/31/2015 to see if it was off at year end. And we can see it was off there. And maybe I decide to go to November 30th, and all of a sudden it's not off anymore. And if I'd been doing that month by month backwards, I could kind of tell which month it got off, which might be useful, because this is now telling us the list of unpaid invoices does equal the AP total. And remember, I dated that in December, so as of November 30th, it won't be off. But let's get back to today, just because, and let's click this button to see what this is. Now notice that we have a list of vendors, and then we have some Z vendor here. Now, a Z vendor behind the scenes in your accounting database, like say you're doing a journal entry, has nothing to do with vendors when you do journal entries. It does put a Z in the vendor field, and that Z is usually ignored when you're handling accounts payable stuff. But you can kind of tell these will all tie up to your open invoices, but suddenly there's this Z vendor here for $500. Now, if you can't remember, or it's in the past something, I'm going to tell you about how to start looking for that in accounts payable, so you can try to figure out where that $500 came from. We remember right now that it was from a journal entry, but maybe at a later date you won't. And if you print this list of based on invoice dates, you won't see that AP. This is your open invoices actually posted in accounts payable in CHS. And that's the 64,582 that you'll see showing up here, 64,582, the unpaid total. That's the unpaid invoices total. But this 65,082, we drilled down to look at it and see why it's $500 more. We see that there was that Z vendor. So I'm going to tell you a way to look to try to help yourself figure out what that's for. So what we're going to do is we're going to go home, and we're going to go look at our big accounting database to look for records that might have a Z vendor posted to that GL account. So we might just use min-max dates so that we make sure we get all records for all dates based on the criteria that we're entering. And we're entering that accounts payable trade account. We only want to look at it, and we only want to look at vendor Z. So that's going to help us here, vendor Z. And sorry about my dog, she's upset about buzzards again. Anyway, let's open the accounting database for that with that kind of criteria, see what we can find out. Well, what we found was one entry for $500 for that Z vendor posted to this GL for accounts payable, and that it's in the AJE journal. I can click on that journal to actually look at that entire entry, adjust AP for some reason, adjust AP for some reason. So what I could decide to do is go edit that journal entry. Maybe I did need to put that notes payable balance. I needed to decrease it by 500 for whatever reason, but I shouldn't have done it to this 2110 account. I should figure out what other account, GL account, this journal entry should have. Or the other thing is, maybe I just want to go delete that journal entry. But you would need to discuss this with whoever the accountant person was, etc., and to go take care of that to get yourself back in balance. So if I close this, I just wanted to show you how you can look for things like that. The other thing you might do, besides using the Z thing, is let's reset this criteria, use min-max dates. Let's do that GL account again for accounts payable trade. I'm sorry, I meant to open the big accounting database to show you some other tricks for searching for some things that might have affected it, because actually anything in the 2110 account really should not be, say, in the AG. Let's do 2110 in our big search features here, because now we have the full database open, and right here you can see journal. So let's take a look. A big clue would be is if you'd made a journal entry. It keeps talking about that, if you made a journal entry. So that journal is AJE journal. You have a list of journals. You wouldn't be interested in the ones in AP because that would be okay. You know, that kind of thing, other journals. So I submit a search here, and I can see that one entry again just by doing the AJE journal, and I didn't do for vendor Z. So hopefully that'll give you some clues about how to search different ways. There might be other things that popped up there. Maybe there is some vendor that shows up that's different than the other vendor, and that probably means there's an issue for some weird, odd reason that never seems to really happen, that the open AP for one vendor is different than what shows up when you print that little ledger of the AP account. And you can do some searching here, but probably in that case you probably want to call us and have me see if I can't help you out with that and see what might have gone on. Maybe something blipped as you were posting, or something, you lost connection, which can't really happen because it's so fast. It posts everything, calls back to our journal. But just in case, you know how computers are. If you're off, you might call me to have you help while you're off. Let's go back home. Let's go to our journal entries. Let's take this one. We can see it right on top. And we might do a report of it if we want to remember that we need to re-enter it for some other reason but not using that account. But it asks me if it's okay to delete it. I say it's okay. Let's close this. Let's close this. Let's close our chart of accounts. Let's go back to AP aging. And now I'm not getting any alert, and now I'm tied. It was that journal entry that was causing that to be off in that case. So hopefully that helps you. If these things are showing, suddenly you get a big alert that this is off. If you can't figure it out, please feel free to call us to help you try to discern what the difference is, because it should never be. And you should just let CHS make the entries to this control accounts payable account. And thank you for watching.